Guys, how are you?
Good!
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gary Parsons, the sheriff here in Lee County, and I came down to welcome you guys here to the fort today, and also to students in Rockingham and Scott County that'll be viewing this as well. And we're just proud to be here in Lee County and proud to have Wilderness Road State Park here. You know, we all believe that Lee County is where Virginia begins. And, you know, we know we're down here in the little tip of Virginia, and sometimes we're forgotten by folks upstate. But we know this is the most important part of the state, don't we?
Yes.
So really want to welcome you guys. I hope you have a great experience today. I think you will. There's a lot of things to learn about our past and our rich heritage and history. And I will turn it over to a man who knows all about it, Mordecai Howard. He's left us over here. Oh, there he is.
Good morning. My real name is Richard Beeler. I'm an interpretive ranger here at Martin Station. And as an interpretive ranger, one of my primary duties is to get the visitor, that would be you, to have a good understanding of the importance of Martin Station and the Wilderness Road pertaining to the westward expansion into Kentucky and Tennessee. If you look around this fort today, it's much like the original. We built this in 2002. This is a replica. It's not the real actual fort that Martin and his men built in 1775, but it gives you a good idea of what the fort looks like. This fort was constructed just as if it was in 1775. We had volunteers and park staff dressed in period clothes. We ate period foods. We used period reproduction tools. Logs were dragged down from the top of the hill using a team of horses and ox, and within the summers we had the fort completed. So you'll not find a more historically accurate frontier fort anywhere in the southeast. Now, Martin Station was very important as a stopping off point of settlers going into Kentucky and Tennessee. At this point you could get supplies, and it was also the last vestige of civilization. Now, as far as Christmas is concerned, you know, it's coming. We're in December. Christmas is just around the corner. Have you ever stopped to wonder, how did our colonial forefathers celebrate Christmas? I'm going to tell you about some of the ways they did. Some things you're going to be familiar with, and some things you're going to be surprised at. First of all, I want you to look around this fort. What type of decorations do you see?
Wood.
Well, wood. Now, remember, most of the ribbons, greenery, yes, that would be appropriate for this time period. Now, back in England, the greenery would be holly, mistletoe, and ivy. These were descendants from the British Isles, so they wanted to celebrate in basically the same way they did back in England. So here on the frontier, you had to make do with what you had. Cedar was in great abundance. So was rhododendron, mountain laurel could be used, holly, certainly mistletoe. And as you can see, we have this decorated with ribbons, much like it would be in the 18th century. Now, one thing that is maybe you're wondering, where is the Christmas tree?
There wasn't.
There wasn't a Christmas tree here. You're exactly right. Because the Christmas tree won't become popular until about 1848, when Queen Victoria and her husband, Prince Albert, a German, introduced the Christmas tree to Great Britain, and it caught on. So you wouldn't have Christmas trees out here, but you would have greenery. Now, not every colony in these 13 colonies celebrated Christmas. In the New England states, such as Pennsylvania, you did not celebrate Christmas. In fact, in 1659, a law was passed that made Christmas celebrations illegal, and you could be fined up to 5 shillings for every time you were caught celebrating Christmas. Now, you got to remember, these Puritans viewed Christmas celebration as either papist, that is, of the Catholic Church, or it was non-Christian. So they just didn't do it, but that didn't apply to everybody. Here in Virginia, it would depend on where you are, how Christmas was celebrated. Now, what we know about Christmas celebrations in colonial time is from diaries left over. And one fella wrote in his diary he experienced his first Christmas. He was a teacher, of all things. He noted that to celebrate Christmas, and of course everybody knew Christmas was celebrating the birth of Christ. So first and foremost in Virginia, it was a religious holiday. And then you had 12 days of Christmas, beginning on the 25th and lasting up until January 6th. And during this time, Virginians loved to In fact, he wrote that all people could talk about after Christmas, which was very, very simple, a meal, church services, reading from the Bible. But then afterwards, he said all people could think about and talk about was the horse racing, the fox hunts, the dancing, the balls, and the great festivities and the scrumptious meals that would be served. He also noted in his diary that a year later he was in another place and he said they did not observe Christmas at all, except on the 12th night. That would be the 12th day of Christmas. They had a big dance, a big ball, and also it was a good time to have weddings. You know, that mistletoe hanging over your head, I'm sure that led to some weddings that might be used on the 12th night. So not everybody celebrated Christmas the same way. The Christmas tree we already mentioned was not here. Do you see glitter and lights? No. Now in this time period, you might on Christmas Eve light a candle called a Christmas candle. The churches certainly did. The churches greened up. They called it sticking this church, putting twigs of holly and ivy and other things in the churches. Well, here, you know, we don't have a church. A circuit rider will be coming later on, perhaps, and may or may not be during Christmas time. Another thing is the gift giving. How many of you like to get up on Christmas morning? The first thing you do, you run down to the Christmas tree and look for what? Presents. In the 18th century, you put your hands down. In the 18th century period, presents was given in one direction, from parents to their children, or from employers to the employees to apprentices. It was called Christmas box. And it'd be a little box made of clay. And inside of that box might be some sweets, or it could be more than likely a sixpence, a small coin. If you were an apprentice, it was customary for you to go around to your clients, and they would give you a tip, so to speak, in the Christmas box. So even Jefferson noted that he spent 48 shillings on Christmas presents for his family and servants. Even slaves were giving a Christmas box. So it was a time of giving, but remember, it's only one way. You only gave from a superior point to a less superior point. So you folks wouldn't be required in this time period to make a present for your folks. They would give you a present. Now, any questions at this point? No. What would be, how many of you use firecrackers to celebrate Christmas? Yeah, I grew up making noise. You're making a celebration. Well, that fellow I was telling you about in his diary said that on Christmas Eve, guns were fired. And on Christmas morning, they were awakened him with guns firing all around the house. So what we're going to do is to give you a tip in gold, Pioneer Christmas. We're going to fire that cannon out. You folks like to hear the cannon? That's a big noise. Now listen, once we go out there, I'll tell you a little bit about the cannon. It's a 3-pounder, which means it fires 3-pound cannonball. We're not going to be firing anything in the gun. It'll just be powder. And you will listen to one command that I'll give. What? Make ready. Those 2 words. Has everybody got that? Make ready. That means that's your cue. If you have a hearing aid, you might want to turn that down now. Turn it off. If you're real sensitive to loud noises, make ready is your cue to cover your ears with your hands. No. And hopefully, if all goes well, we'll get a kaboom out of this. Everybody ready? We're going to line up out here.
Spread out if you want. Let everybody get a look.
Down here. No, I saw this way. The cannonball. Make ready.
Ready. All right.
Back up.
Yeah. Make ready.
Ready?
Fire.
From all of us at Martin Station, Wilderness Road State Park, all the people involved here, the staff, we would like to wish you a happy Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, you folks are used to Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
But in the 18th century, it was Happy Christmas. So Happy Christmas. We hope you enjoyed it. Now we'll take some questions. Anybody got a question? Oh, by the way, where's St. Nicholas? Where's Santa Claus? He was not here. That's exactly right. Now, if you were German descent or Dutch, you would know about St. Nicholas. According to the Germanic story, St. Nicholas rode a white horse carrying a large basket of sweets and goodies for good little boys and placed them in the wooden shoes. How many of you wear wooden shoes? Not a one of you. Well, that was replaced with the stockings that were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. Do any of you hang your stockings up on the...
Down here, George, she was one of the first.
All right. You don't have wooden shoes, so stockings work. Yes. Your question?
People get do they get stockings?
Did they get stockings? Stockings you wore. Now that replaced the wooden shoes.
Here's my stockings.
Stockings, long socks, if you will.
Didn't they come from washing them and hanging them over the
Probably to dry, and they thought, be a pretty good way to maybe you'll get goodies in there. Now, if you had a big foot, you'd really racked up. You know, if you had a little tiny foot, not so much. But they do stretch. Any other questions?
Was there Santa here in 17?
No. No Santa Claus.
Well,
He won't be popular until about the mid-1800s.
did they have any wars in Christmas?
Wars and Christmas, yes. During the Revolution, right after during Washington defeated the Hessians at Trenton, Christmas Day. Any other questions? Do we shoot it again? Yeah. Powder is scarce. Do you have a pound of powder in your pocket that we could use? If you wish. You might not want to stand by the fire. No, we only fire it once. We got, what, 8 or 9 more groups coming in? So we got to save some of the powder for them. Now here in southwestern Virginia, especially on the frontier, powder would be very precious. So you probably would maybe fire a couple muskets. But Captain Martin said that due to the season that we had plenty of powder in stock, and we don't anticipate any Indian trouble. Most Indians are in their villages during the winter, so we could partake of just a wee bit of powder.
How would you hang the wooden shoes?
The wooden shoes, well, you just placed them on the mat near the fireplace. Yeah.
How is it not burnt?
Well, you don't put them in the fireplace, you put them beside it.
I don't mind hanging on that.
Probably better stick your feet in, that way you don't mess up your shoes. Well, the tradition to have a Christmas meal. How many of you like ham and turkey? Oh yeah. Well, it was popular back then as well. Now here in the settlement, we have lots and lots of wild turkey, so that would be on the menu. That common house over there, pork might be a problem. How many of you like ham? Comes from pigs. It says here on the frontier you might not have pigs, but you got a good substitute, black bear. Bears are very fatty animals. You can render them down into oil and the lard. So bears would be the pork of the frontier. Any other questions? Christmas pudding? No, I don't think you'd have. Not on the frontier.
Since they had nothing to make it.
That's true. And it would, you'd have to, out in the towns like Williamsburg, yeah. You might have mutton. On that menu might be buffalo. Any of you ever eat buffalo? It's pretty good eating, isn't it? Did you ever eat? The hump was considered a delicacy, but you know what the greatest delicacy of the buffalo was? The tongue. Oh, I can tell none of you have eaten buffalo tongue. Well, I have. It's quite good. Yeah, that cannon would be one, and everybody carried either a musket or a rifle. We have one here.
I'll get it for you.
We have one. Now, another thing on that menu, how many have ever eaten marrow? Bone marrow. The leg bones of the buffalo and the deer. they would cook those, put them in the hot coals, break them open and scoop out the marrow. It was called the butter of the gods, and it's quite tasty.
Are you going to shoot that?
Any ammo?
No ammo.
I'm just gonna shoot it when we go.
Go ahead and shoot.
Yay!
What are we doing? Like I shot ammo or just shoot? Okay.
Any other
I'll go over here and
questions
load
while
fire
he's
guns.
loading up?
No.
Okay, what other things you think might be good to eat on Christmas Day?
Ham.
Well, we've talked about ham. Mashed potatoes, maybe not.
Turkey.
Turkey, ah, yes. Now, how about bear? Any of you ever eaten bear?
No.
You could smoke a bear ham and shoulder, bear bacon. It's delicious. It's a very red meat. Elk, deer, also. Buffalo, we've already mentioned. Small game such as squirrels and rabbits. You had elk. Are we ready?
Yep. Everybody
Ready
ready?
to go.
Yes.
All right, fire off.
Not as loud as a cannon, is it? It's kind of anticlimactic. Folks, I think we've got another group moving in. So, let's see, you folks are going where? To the mansion next?
To the theater.
To the theater? All right, if you want to, you can kind of move this group out.